Bonjour et bienvenue at Coffee Break French. Welcome back to Coffee Break French. Now, in this lesson, we're going to be looking at jobs, talking about what you do for a living, where you work, and crucially, whether you like your job or not. I hope you find today's lesson useful. We're going to begin by revising or reviewing a phrase that we covered in an earlier lesson, and that is the phrase for I am. We learned it in the context of talking about your nationality. And today we're going to use that same phrase to talk about our profession or our jobs. Anna, can you remember how you say I am? For example, I am Scottish.
Can indeed work. Je suis écossaise.
Okay, je suis écossaise in Anna's case, je suis écossais in my case. So the je suis part means I am. Je suis.
Je suis.
Okay, let's repeat that one more time. Je suis.
Je suis.
Très bien. So we're going to combine this with the word for various jobs, various professions. I could say, for example, je suis professeur. Je suis professeur.
Je suis professeur.
Okay, now, je suis professeur means I am a teacher. Now, you'll probably be realizing already that there isn't, in fact, a word for a in there. I am a teacher. Je suis professeur. When you're giving your job in French, you don't need to use the word for a. So, je suis professeur, I am a teacher. In French, you just say, I am teacher. So, Anna, you're not a professeur, you're une étudiante.
Une étudiante.
Très bien. Now, une étudiante is a student. And when you say, I am a student, because it's your profession in this situation, you would say, je suis étudiante.
Je suis étudiante.
Très bien. Now, Anna says, je suis étudiante, with a t sound at the end. If Anna were male, she would say, je suis étudiant. Notice the difference there. A male would say, étudiant, and a female would say,
Étudiante.
étudiant.
Étudiante.
So the feminine version ends in te, which gives the t ending, étudiante. And the masculine version just ends in t. So that gives this nasal sound, étudiant. As we go through today's lesson, we'll be coming across a number of words which change depending on whether the person is male or female. But there are a few words that don't change, and we're going to start with them. Now, within this lesson, we'll be giving you a few job titles, and it may well be the case that your own job isn't explained in today's lesson. Don't worry about that. If you go to the bulletin board, the Radiolingua discussion board, you'll be able to ask someone there the question, how would you say your own job? So do go and visit the discussion board that you can access from our website at www.radiolingua.com. Okay, let's look at some job titles now. Let's begin with talking about an engineer. An engineer in French is ingénieur.
Ingénieur.
Okay, so let's repeat that again. Ingénieur.
Ingénieur.
So, Anna, how would you say, I am an engineer?
Je suis ingénieur.
Pas mal du tout. Not bad at all. Ingénieur.
Ingénieur.
Je suis ingénieur.
Je suis ingénieur.
Okay, so repeat after me. Je suis ingénieur.
Je suis ingénieur.
Très bien. So that's engineer. Perhaps you are an accountant. An accountant is comptable.
Comptable.
Très bien. Comptable.
Comptable.
So how would you say, I am an accountant?
Je suis comptable.
Très bien. This time it's je suis. You don't pronounce the last S of je suis ingénieur, je suis étudiante. You would say here, je suis comptable.
Je suis comptable.
Excellent. We'll cover another couple of jobs here. For example, you might be a lawyer. A lawyer is avocat.
Avocat.
Avocat sounds very like the English word advocate. An avocat.
Un avocat.
Okay, so that's the word that you would use if you're male and you're a lawyer. A female lawyer is une avocate.
Une avocate.
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 So to say I am a lawyer, you would say je suis avocat.
Je suis avocat.
Okay, and Anna, you would not say avocat, you would say
Avocate.
je suis avocate.
Je suis avocate.
Let's look at another example of a word that changes from the masculine into the feminine. If you're a plumber, you would say je suis plombier.
Je suis plombier.
Plombier is the masculine word. And again, whilst you still may hear people talking about female plombier, the word officially is plombière.
Plombière.
So female plumber, plombière.
Plombière.
Je suis plombière.
Je suis plombière.
So we've learned various words now to talk about different jobs, and we're going to go through these again. This time I'll say the masculine version, and Anna, you say the feminine version, and you can repeat after whichever one of us is most appropriate. So, je suis professeur.
Je suis professeur.
That one's the same for both. Je suis étudiant.
Je suis étudiante.
Okay, so the feminine version there has the t at the end. Étudiante. Okay, je suis ingénieur.
Je suis ingénieur.
Okay, so je suis ingénieur, another one that doesn't change, and that one means I am an engineer. Or you might be an accountant. Je suis comptable.
Je suis comptable.
Another one that doesn't change. The word for lawyer does change. Je suis avocat.
Je suis avocate.
And je suis plombier.
Je suis plombière.
Okay, so that one does change and it means I am a plumber. Now, in order to ask someone what they do, there are two basic ways of asking this question. You could ask, quel est ton métier? Quel est ton métier?
Quel est ton métier?
Now, the word métier means job, profession. So, what is your profession? Quel est ton métier?
Quel est ton métier?
Now, if you were speaking to someone that you didn't know and you wanted to be more formal, you could say, quel est votre métier?
Quel est votre métier?
Métier.
Métier.
Okay? Quel est votre métier?
Quel est votre métier?
Très bien. There's another way of asking this question, but we'll leave that just now, and we'll come back to that a little later on. So I'm going to use the phrase quel est ton métier, and Anna, I'd like you to give some examples here. So, first of all, quel est ton métier?
Je suis plombière.
Tu es plombière.
Ouais.
Okay, so you are a plumber. Tu es plombière. And Anna replied?
Oui.
Oui, okay. She actually said ouais, which is a kind of cooler way of saying oui. Oui, ouais. Okay, so je suis plombière. Let's try another example. And this time I'd like you, the listener, to respond. So, quel est ton métier? Okay, Anna, can you give us a sample response here?
Je suis avocate.
Je suis avocate. Okay, Anna would be avocate. Avocat, the masculine version. Okay, so it's all very well learning the different words for individual professions, but it would probably take quite a long time to cover all possibilities of all jobs. For example, if you work in a hospital, then there are probably 100 different jobs that you might do. So one way of getting around this is teaching you how to say, I work in a hospital. And the phrase for I work is, je travaille.
Je travaille.
Okay, so travail means work. It comes from the verb travailler. And you say, je travaille.
Je travaille.
Now, the word for a hospital is un hôpital.
Un hôpital.
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 Un hôpital.
Un hôpital.
So to say, I work in a hospital, you would say, je travaille dans un hôpital.
Je travaille dans un hôpital.
Okay. Je travaille dans un hôpital.
Je travaille dans un hôpital.
Okay. Now, some other places that you might work, you may work, for example, in a shop. Je travaille dans un magasin.
Je travaille dans un magasin.
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 Okay, think of going to a shop to buy magazines. Magasin.
Magasin.
Je travaille dans un magasin.
Je travaille dans un magasin.
Okay. You may work in a restaurant. Je travaille dans un restaurant.
Je travaille dans un restaurant.
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 Okay, restaurant. Maybe this is a good opportunity for us to practice that r sound. Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Okay, it's quite tricky to do, and it's this sort of guttural rolled R. What you can do is if you raise your tongue in your mouth as if you're going to say the letter G, as in girl, G.
G.
G. But then don't put your tongue right to the top of your mouth. Leave a little bit of air in between the top of your mouth and your tongue, and then blow through it, and at the same time gargle. So you've got something like grrr.
Grrr.
Yeah, you sound a little bit strange. I have to say. Grrr.
Grrr.
Okay, just try not to say the G part, okay?
Grrr.
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 So, restaurant.
Restaurant.
Okay, excellent. Restaurant.
Restaurant.
And obviously this R sound does change depending on which part of the French-speaking world you're in, but if you have something like restaurant, then it's good.
Restaurant.
So, je travaille dans un restaurant.
Je travaille dans un restaurant.
Excellent. You might also work, for example, in a factory. A factory or some kind of processing plant is une usine.
Une usine.
So to say I work in a factory, you would say?
Je travaille dans une usine.
Très bien. And une usine, you notice, is different from un restaurant, un hôpital, un magasin. These words are all masculine words, whereas une usine is a feminine word. Don't worry too much about this. We'll be coming back to gender later. So that's another way of saying where you work or what you do for a living. We've already had the question, quel est ton métier? Or quel est votre métier? What is your job? What is your profession? And I said earlier that there's another way of asking this, and that is, qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Okay, now literally, that means, what do you do in life? What do you do in the life? Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
So, Anna, if I asked you, qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? What would you say?
Je travaille dans un magasin.
Très bien. Je travaille dans un magasin. Anna travaille dans un magasin. Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? Anna, can you ask me the question?
Yes. Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Alors, moi, je suis professeur. I started that with alors. Alors means well. Moi, me. Je suis professeur. Alors moi, je suis professeur. I'm going to ask you the question again, Anna, and I'd like you to start with alors moi, and then say what you are. You can tell the truth or you can say something different. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Alors moi, je travaille dans un magasin.
Okay, Anna travaille dans un magasin. She works in a magasin, a shop. Now, if you were using the formal form, you wouldn't say qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie. You would say qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie. Listen to the difference. We have qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie and qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie. Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Alors moi, je suis avocate.
Très bien. Okay, so if we all repeat qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie? Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Très bien. The informal version was?
Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie?
Qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? And the formal version is?
Qu'est-ce que vous faites dans la vie?
Très bien. Okay, excellent. Okay, so before we get finished here, there's a couple of things that I'd like to cover. The first of these is the situation where you don't work. Now, to say I work is?
Je travaille.
Je travaille, as in je travaille dans un magasin. And you already know that to make something negative, you put a ne pas round the verb. So je travaille, I work. I don't work.
Je ne travaille pas.
Très bien, excellent. Je ne travaille pas.
Je ne travaille pas.
So if you don't work, if you're retired, or if you're just at home, then you can say je ne travaille pas.
Je ne travaille pas.
And finally, we're going to learn how to say I like my job or I don't like my job. To say I like my job, you say j'aime mon travail.
J'aime mon travail.
So that's almost like saying je aime mon travail. Je meaning I. Aime means like. So j'aime, I like. J'aime mon travail. I like my work.
J'aime mon travail.
Now, here's another little test for you. We're going to put this into the negative. If you want to say, I don't like my work, then you would put the ne pas round the verb. What's the verb in that sentence?
J'aime.
Well, yeah, that's the verb including the word for I. So I like, j'aime. But if we take the verb on its own, which is aime, then we need to put the ne pas round aime. So it becomes je n'aime pas.
Je n'aime pas.
Très bien. Je n'aime pas mon travail.
Je n'aime pas mon travail.
Okay. Now the reason we were splitting up j'aime into je and aime earlier was exactly that, so that we could put in the negative later. Je n'aime pas. Otherwise it just becomes j'aime. The J runs into the je rather runs into the M. J'aime. J'aime. And je n'aime pas.
Je n'aime pas.
So, je n'aime pas mon travail.
Je n'aime pas mon travail.
Perhaps that's a little negative to finish on, but we'll be covering more about liking and disliking things next time. And that's where we're going to leave it today for this edition of Coffee Break French. Thanks for joining us, and we hope it's been useful. You can join the Coffee Break French community on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeebreakfrench, and we're at Learn French on Twitter. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt. This is a production of the Radiolingua Network. Find out more at radiolingua.com.